Trotskyism and its helpers. For the purpose of performing its subversive activities in different organizations of the working class and in the other democratic parties and organizations, Trotskyism operates in different shapes, but always with one goal: to clear the road for the fascist imperialist bandits. When they conduct espionage and implement sabotages, diversions and other verminous activities in the USSR, the Trotskyist bandits and their disciples act for defeat of the USSR, for destruction of the country of socialism, the bastion of the international proletariat, the protector of the small nations and the biggest champion of peace. In China, the Trotskyists perform espionage service at the Japanese headquarters. There, those bandits change their clothes with the uniforms of the 8th Popular Army, kill and rob the peasants and the commanders of the 8th Army, deliver military plans to the Japanese conquerors, and are trying by all means to make difficult the liberation struggle of the Chinese people. In Spain, the Trotskyists were the soul of the fifth column. They caused mutinies in the rear of the Republican People's Army whenever Franco faced dangers on the front. And nowadays, lastly, when the generals, José, Miaja, Segismundo, Casado and others were preparing treasonable surrender of the Republican Spain to the butcher Franco, the Trotskyists were the first to have helped that surrender and have targeted the Communists, who resisted that treason. They were operating as devoted servants of Franco, Mussolini and Hitler. They have helped the enslavement of the Spanish people. During the occupation of Czechoslovakia, the Belgrade Trotskyists were against the defense of Czechoslovakia. Now, in general, Trotskyists in every country have taken the mask of pacifism and conduct tireless struggle against the organizations of the resistance to the fascist conquerors. In Slovenia and in other regions of our country, in these hard hours, they spread panics among the people, kill the faith in people that is capable to defend itself. Allegedly, they are against the bloodshed, but in reality they thus prepare the ground for the fascist bandits to destroy freedom and independence of whole peoples without resistance. Espionage, diversions, provocations, murders, sabotages, denunciations, these are the forms of activity of the Trotskyist bandits. Breaking apart the single front of the working class, breaking apart the popular front and preventing the assemblance of the popular masses for defense of its independence, these are the tasks the Trotskyist bandits have received from their masters, the fascist conquerors. But the Trotskyists don't operate so transparently that everyone can instantly read their intention. The first thing they do is camouflage themselves with revolutionary phraseology. If they are camouflaged in the party or around the party, then they in words accept the party line and declare their faithfulness to it, but they are doing so to conduct their job more easily. Spreading demoralization in the party, espionage for the enemy, denunciations of distinguished comrades, support and stimulation of unhealthy ambitions among various unhealthy elements, creation of factionalism with an intention of weakening the party in that way, etc. But, the Trotskyists operate through literature too. Allegedly from some scientific aspect, they are causing confusion in the heads, especially of the young intellectuals and of some workers with their writings. Among us, the Trotskyists advance under the sign of revision of Marxism and Leninism. Some Rickman and company insist now on resurrection anew of the ruined theory of Ernst Mach, which Lenin has smashed into pieces in his book, Materialism and Empiricriticism. Some of our journals are giving hospitality to types such as the surrealist Marco Ristic, intimate friend of the Paris Trotskyist and bourgeois degenerate person, André Breton. To that Ristic, who wanted to enrich and complement Marxism with surrealism and who, nowadays, secretly denunciates the USSR and its popular culture, who publicly writes that the Spanish people have struggled for a dream, for outgrowth of subconscious, that Majakovsky and Yesenin have killed themselves because they have been alienated from the Russian reality, they were disappointed, etc. Hospitality is given to Rickman, who has started with corrections of Engels and Lenin's understanding of dialectics in nature, and has ended denunciating their best successor Stalin and defending the Hitler's agent Bukharin. Or, for example, V. Bogdanov, who has given shameless statements before police and court in 1929, and nowadays is trying to revise the Marx's and Engels' stance from 1848, a man who tirelessly and very craftily conducts his subversive labor on working classes' damage. These men and those like them, about whom we shall talk more if there is a need, conduct very craftily their destructive labor in the form of literary creation. For almost 3 years the courageous Spanish people were fighting for their independence and freedom. The progressive and democratic intelligentsia of the whole world insisted on helping somehow with that struggle, but these people were mute all the time, as if this struggle doesn't concern them. It is very important that exactly from those cycles came the angriest attacks against the stance that the working class should put its independent candidates on the list of Dr. Maciek during the elections of December 11, 1938. It can be seen clearly from this that the destructive labor of these intellectuals isn't limited to the literary field, but it is in politics too. This was a clear Trotskyist attack against the working class and our party by some intellectuals who hide their Trotskyist face from the working class of Yugoslavia, because they know that it hates Trotskyism like plague. The Trotskyists are very eagerly using weapons like denunciation and discreditation in the public of comrades about whom they know that have some functions in the movement. Thus, they have made up that some comrade has stolen money from the party in Montenegro without it being known, and they as devoted party members are obliged to inform about it. But, of course, they inform about it in corners, in cafes, and everyone whom they met. Furthermore, the Trotskyists conduct diverse provocations on the Communists' account. They put shit on icons and churches in Montenegro and spread rumors among people that it is a party directive. Such provocations are frequent phenomena in other regions too, and all is done with the goal of causing discontent against our party among the people. The activities of the Trotskyists as fascist agents are especially felt during severe political shocks. They assemble around themselves all political desperados, former capitulators, liquidators and traitors. Those elements under Trotskyist influence are activating themselves, of course, in the struggle against the party. They emphasize political and ideological differences with it. Vaso Srentic, for example, has left our movement from liquidator reasons and he is now denouncing the USSR, Comintern and our party on the most disgustful manner. The traitors from the so-called Montenegrin process from 1936, Kosta Kafka and others, nowadays start struggle against the party and its policy, putting obstacles on every step. In Dalmatia some elements under influence of Trotskyists and their helpers from abroad are starting anew with factional struggles among themselves and the struggle against the party. They don't relent under party decisions and conduct struggle against its functionaries. It is clear that in the future we'll have to publish the names of all those men, so the honest workers and party members would know who those people are and whom they serve. There can be successful struggle against Trotskyism, which is a form of fascism, only if every party member every time knows to notice every phenomenon that leads to Trotskyism, whom they serve and are creating fertile soil for its subversive and verminous labor. Every factionalism, indiscipline, unhealthy criticism, denunciation, liberalism to known Trotskyists, vacillation in the struggle against them, vacillation in the struggle against all above-mentioned phenomena, hypocrisy etc., is the most fertile soil for successful labor of Trotskyism. It is necessary that our comrades and sympathizers in the struggle against Trotskyism keep in mind these matters. The alien and rotten theory that is spread by the fascists, sometimes also by various insincere reactionaries, social democratic and democratic elements, claiming that the struggle against Trotskyism in reality is ideological struggle between two currents in the workers' movement, should be rejected. Today, Trotskyism isn't an ideological current anymore. It is gang of spies, saboteurs and murderers, it is a form of fascism, its avant-garde, instrument of the war provocateurs, the enemies of democracy, freedom and human progress. There is no struggle against fascism without struggle against its Trotskyist form. That is why the party should mobilize against Trotskyism not only the whole party membership, but also all sincere anti-fascists, all friends of culture and progress. To make the struggle against that contamination more successful, it is necessary to raise the theoretical level of the membership. It is necessary to inform the membership, sympathizers and all the friends of freedom, democracy and progress about the real essence of Trotskyism. The line of our party should be learnt and Leninist-Stalinist persistence and consistence should be shown in the struggle against all deviations. There should be more personal self-initiative and resoluteness in the struggle against various Trotskyist and semi-Trotskyist elements, against all that creates a ground for Trotskyism. Every member of the party should develop a Bolshevik alertness not only in the party, but everywhere they operate, in trade unions, in various cultural and sport organizations, and should unmask the Trotskyist agents and provocateurs before workers and the other democratic strata of people. The actions against the Trotskyists should be implemented not only half legally, but also through the press, lectures etc. in various workers, democratic, cultural and other organizations. Giving several examples of the destructive labor of the Trotskyists and the necessity of struggle against them, at the same time we have to emphasize that it would be harmful for the party and for the assemblance of all honest and democratic elements for struggle against the fascist danger if we put in one Trotskyist basket everybody who really from ignorance and uninformedness makes some mistake, or by time falls under influence of the Trotskyist elements. Their mistakes and delusions should be patiently explained to them, they should be helped to get acquainted with the real essence of Trotskyism and the methods of their destructive labor. Cleaning the rows of our party from all Trotskyist and semi-Trotskyist elements, in the same time we are obliged to conduct struggle for expulsion of Trotskyists and their helpers from all other workers and democratic popular organizations, because in that way we shall secure the unity of the working class and we shall contribute to the victory of peace, democracy, freedom, independence and brotherhood among peoples of Yugoslavia.